Hey, do you like tracer units? What am I saying? Of course you do. But you don't want to spend the money on tracer units. They're overcomplicated and don't really give you a clear instruction of how they actually work. Well, here's where this comes into play, because our friends over at T238.net have actually helped work with us to help hook you guys up with not only some great deals, but also even better trace units. So, be it, of course, from, say, the most cyberpunk of cyberpunk. Or even the most tactical of tactical rifles. T238.net has got what you're looking for. And aside from tracer units, they also make high-powered motors, be they high speed, high torque, or even anything in between. For V2s, V3s, they even have trigger units that are easy to install and just do a lot of awesome things. And the best part is, they have components that prevent them from overheating. And it's not just for airsoft. No, they also make it for gel ball and Nerf. Meaning that if your country does not allow you to have the coolness that is airsoft, then at least you have something for Nerf and gel ball. So, go down to the link down below and use the coupon code AirsoftAl and you'll get some awesome stuff. And even better stuff, be they discount codes or, of course, free shipping. But if you use the link down below, then you'll be helping us out here on the channel. So please, go down there to the link down below, use that referral link, and get some really awesome stuff. I mean this, folks. T238 has never steered me wrong, isn't going to steer you wrong. They are simple, easy to use, and easy to understand, and they're reliable. So, what are you waiting for? Go down there right now at T238.net's link down below and use coupon code AirsoftAl and get some good stuff. If there's one way to get me to like your story, it's to go to my heart. And by my heart, I mean the things I grew up with in the 90s. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the story we're talking about today. The story itself being a DC animated universe. And I mean the Tim-verse. And My Hero Academia. Now, yes, this has been done a few times, but this one is on Air 3. Yes, I know, for the love of God, I have firearms. I can defend myself if you guys try to do a damn thing against me. Number two, this is a lovely little thing of what if the bloodlines, like what if history just repeats itself? And in this instance, it's a combination of many of the Batman media. Now, we haven't seen anything with Gotham yet, mind you, but we do see a lot of cool concepts and ideas here that I absolutely fucking love. Among them is Deku Midoriya, Izuku Midoriya, basically being a long descendant of Bruce fucking Wayne, and the Wayne Enterprise is basically changing hands and names through the century, through the time, basically. And Izuku Midoriya basically being the last living blood relative, gotta thank the frickin' lottery for that one, basically being alive. Now, before I even get into that, I just want to throw my theory into this. The reason Izuku Midoriya is the way he is because, I bet you anything, a version of Cadmus still had to make sure that there was a version of Batman kicking around the world. Because as a old Amanda Waller once said,
because the world needs a Batman.
So yeah, I can completely, because if this motherfucker does somehow bring Cadmus into this, or at least a descendant of Amanda Waller into this, you have me hooked. Just, you have me hooked for your story. Just hook, line, sinker, I'm in this for the ride. Now, a big thing, though, is that Izuku Midoriya is quirkless in this, and that's kind of the big motif about Batman, especially the Batman character. Now, aside from him, of course, there is a descendant of the Pennyworth bloodline, meaning that as time went on, Alfred Pennyworth was able to get his bibbidi-bubbidi on and basically was able to continue his bloodline. His bloodline continued to serve the Wayne family, or at least their bloodline, faithfully, and kept bibbidi-bubbidi out a butler line. And of course, each and every single one of them went into the military, went special forces, and then came back as butlers. Again, lots of things there to unpack if you really want to go down the rabbit hole of the Pennyworth family tree. Especially the Pennyworth show, because holy shit, Britain was fucked up in that timeline. So, aside from that, of course, Izuku Midoriya also meets our favorite freaking rich girl who can basically materialize things out of her clothes. We don't care about her at the moment, we're only here for the Batman villains. And who are the Batman villains? Well, Izuku Midoriya's parents, or at least mother, dies from Jack Napier, who, again, we all know who Jack Napier is, we all know where that's going, and by God Almighty, apparently this dude decided to basically give us a hint that this motherfucker is basically going to be Heath Ledger's Joker. Now, here's the thing. As much as I love Heath Ledger's Joker, I also love Jack Nicholson's Joker.
And Bob, remember, you are my number one guy.
And, again, would love to see those combined. Or at least to a degree, there be, like, separations. Because we have seen in the comics the fact that there are multiple Jokers. And, again, Batman is basically order, Joker's chaos. Or in some rare timelines, Joker's order, Batman chaos. Moving on from that absolute fucking rabbit hole that we are not going down, because I don't have hours to do, and I am not the comic historian. If you want to learn more about that, go watch Comic Historian, because believe me, he does a better job covering that rabbit hole than I ever could. But the big thing, though, is that as Izuku Midoriya is, of course, going on, he even does, of course, the Batman with Edward from Twilight being Batman, basically. He does that, which is absolutely amazingly done. I am very much so impressed by that. But the big thing is that there is a law in the Quirk Law that basically states that if you're a vigilante and you don't have a license to be a vigilante, then you will basically be arrested. Now, there is a loophole in that states if you have a quirk. Put a pin in that. We'll come back to that later. Especially to the Wayne family line and sort of what Wayne Enterprises can bring to the legal table, as well as America. Again, we'll come back to that. Put a pin in that. Put a pin in the legal team possibility. Anyway, moving on. So, as time goes on in these 5 chapters, not only, of course, do we find out that All Might is basically sponsored and basically paid and supported by Wayne Enterprises. Yes, I know they go by a different name. I will always know it as Wayne Enterprises. Basically, Izuku Midoriya has this motherfucker by the balls and could literally go full boss mode and threaten to basically bankrupt him if he doesn't toe the line. Put a pin in that. So, the other thing, though, is that, again, this dude borrows so much from the Timverse, and I love it because we get to see the recreation of the famous Poison Ivy episode from btas, from Batman the Animated Series, and it is good. And I'm gonna say this right now, if we don't get a Catwoman in this, or at least a version of Selena Kyle, I'll be upset. Because you can't have Batman without Catwoman. I'm just saying that right now. But, moving on. It does end, of course, with the fact that it is revealed on the news that Batman is, in fact, quirkless. Meaning that, technically speaking, he has an exception to the law. Meaning that, technically speaking, while yes, he is breaking the law, he's not breaking the law under the Hero Commission. Meaning that the Hero Commission basically cannot go after this guy. Not only that, but the Hero Commission can't really touch this motherfucker. That's down to the regular police. And the police won't touch this guy because, as Alfred said in, of course, The Dark Knight, Year 1...
I'm sure you've heard old fossils like me talk about Pearl Harbor. Mostly we all lie, make it sound like we leapt to our feet and went after the Axis the second it happened. Truth is, we were scared stiff. Rumors were flying. We barely had an army. Hell, we were hiding in our beds with our heads under the sheets. And then we heard President Roosevelt on the radio. That voice, strong and sure, taking our fear and turning it into a fighting spirit. He's why we won that war. Years later, this report came out that Roosevelt might have known Pearl Harbor was coming and let it happen. That rattled around in my head for days. How horrible it would be if it were true. Then again, it's what got us into the war. A lot of men died. But in the end, it saved millions. I bounced back and forth like that until I realized it was too big for me to judge. He was too big.
I still don't see what that has to do with Batman.
Maybe one day you will.
I may have gotten that wrong, I don't know. All I know is that I love those two movies of The Dark Knight, the animated movies, not the one with the Heath Ledger Joker. You get what I'm saying. Basically the Alan Moore comic, and of course the Alan Moore animated adaptations of the comic. Moving on, though. In the most literal sense, basically all they have to do is wait for a Jim Gordon-type character to come in and basically say that Batman is too big for us. Because again, as we saw in the Alan Moore animated adaptation, freaking The Dark Knight Rises.
The mutants are dead. This is the new face of the law. We are the sons of Batman, and Gotham's criminals are about to enter hell.
The cult of Batman is a real thing and will take over, not just among the quirked people, but also among the quirkless. And we've already seen his hint as to who the Two-Face will be, and you will be shocked to know who it is. I'm not saying who it is. You're going to have to read this to find out. But let's get back to those pin points, shall we? First off, let's go ahead and talk about America. Because technically speaking, Izuku Midoriya has dual citizenship as of right now, meaning that he is not only Japanese, but also an American citizen, meaning that any legal action taken against him will have the American justice system stepping in and basically offering Izuku Midoriya asylum, as well as protection at the embassy, and of course getting him out, because basically America, there was a good amount of time when the big companies that were in America, that controlled the American sphere, outside of the ones we have today, was of course Wayne Enterprises, LexCorp, and Star Industries. See where this is going? America wants their piggy bank, and when Uncle Sam wants to protect one of his own, he will go through freaking leaps and hoops to protect his own. Meaning that basically they could extradite Izuku Midoriya and be like, yeah, no, you fuck with us, we're going to war. We are not fucking around, Japan. We will go to war with you. At that point in time, the Japanese government, fearing about a war and military intervention, could basically go to the Hero Commission, smack the hell out of him, and be like, no, no, stop it. Don't piss off America. That leads into the legal aspect. Because here's the thing. Wayne Enterprises, and of course Bruce Wayne himself, had a huge legal team. Meaning that Izuku Midoriya now has that huge legal team. Meaning that anything really. If Izuku Midoriya is found out to be Batman, and they try to charge him with anything, the massive team of lawyers could basically come in and point out the fact of what they're doing is either illegal, can't happen, won't happen, and we shall sue you for everything you have. They aren't talking about the Japanese government, they're talking about the frickin' Hero Commission and the police department. And yes, this did happen, actually. And yes, they lost bad. Like, holy sweet Jesus, they lost bad. So yeah, there's that aspect of the fact of Izuku Midoriya basically has the best goddamn team of lawyers in the world, outside of Lex Luthor. Because that motherfucker basically is able to get out of jail every single fucking time. Moving on. The final aspect, of course, well, not the final aspect, I'm not going to get to All Might, I'm going to actually continue on with the US government part, is Cadmus. It was shown in Batman Beyond that Cadmus understood there need to be a Batman. And the fact of the matter is, they're right. There has to be someone like Batman. It doesn't matter if they have the same opening or the same origin story as Bruce Wayne, there has to be a Batman. There has to be someone who can basically go above and beyond the law. Someone who can actually take on the villains that the US government knows the regular police cannot, no matter how much they prepare them for. Again, Amanda Waller said it best.
No, I was the government liaison with the Justice League for a while. I met some extraordinary people in that job, but none of them were the equal of Batman.
Right. Who could be?
Not my point. I saw him save the day dozens of times, with nothing but his wits, body, and will. The thought of a world without Batman was unacceptable. People say Batman's obsessive, that he'd do anything to achieve his goals. But he'd never resort to murder. So if I was to honor all he stood for, neither could I.
So there's the big reason why the US government would step in to make sure Izuku Midoriya never sees a day in jail, or never sees a day in court. Because they know that Izuku Midoriya is the only person who can help them come up with plans and takedown options for any rogue or motherfucker that basically threatens world peace, or even anything of that nature. So yeah, while they may not support the vigilante in the open, they will happily support them in the shadows. Again, go watch the episode of literally the origin story of Batman Beyond's Batman and how he came to be. Or just go watch the clip on YouTube. It is fucking mind-blowing. Now we come back to All Might and the heroes in general, as well as the Hero Commission. Again, Izuku Midoriya basically controls All Might. He literally has him by the balls, meaning that he controls his money. And if you control a guy's money, you control the man's life. Meaning that Izuku Midoriya could basically look All Might in the eye and tell him, you either toe the line, or I'm cutting you off. And when he means cuts him off, he basically could mean everything. No more money, no more sponsorships, no more deals, blacklisted, blackballed, literally persona non grata. That could scare the shit out of All Might, as well as the Hero Commission. Again, coming back to that, because if you really think about it, the Hero Commission could very well have a large percentage of controlled stocks, or their controlled organization, come from Izuku Midoriya. Meaning that all Izuku Midoriya has to do to cripple them is the moment they try to arrest him, again, outside of America, and of course secret organizations making sure he stays out of jail, Izuku Midoriya could basically say on the press that his company will be pulling out of the Hero Commission, and he shall be working with fellow companies to never support a corrupt organization ever again. Depending on how large a share of control Izuku Midoriya's company has with the Hero Commission, they could either outright slow down their operations, and of course a lot of their stuff be exposed to the public, which, believe me, they don't want that. But they can't exactly go after Izuku Midoriya. They can't kill him, because if they do, that's war with America, and they don't want a war with America. Because Cadmus is looking at them like they got a sniper on standby with a freaking crosshair on the Hero Commission president's head, just like, go ahead, call the hit. Go ahead, just call that hit. I got you in my sights, bitch. So they can't exactly kill or make Midoriya go missing, nor can they fabricate any sort of evidence to basically try and get him behind bars. Because again, Papa America and possibly a Black Ops organization has his back. One in the public square, one behind the scenes. Just saying. So, then comes the fun bit. How exactly could Izuku Midoriya go forward? He could basically recreate the Justice League. He could literally find the files on the Justice League and reactivate it. Except in this case, instead of going to, of course, UA, which, believe me, the motherfucker doesn't have to go to UA. He's got the money. He's got the power. He could literally shut the fucking school down. That's how much power he has in terms of, this is how much pull I have, motherfucker. He could literally restart the Justice League. And I mean that because Superman, as we know, does not get old, or at least ages very, very slowly. And if the Young Justice universe is the same in this timeline as it is, of course, in many other DC timelines, or at least is attached to the Timverse, then he could basically reach out to a lot of the former Young Justice members, or a lot of the new Outsider members, or, you know, a lot of these people, and literally recreate either the Teen Titans, either the Young Justice team, either create a new Justice League, there are so many options here. It's not even funny, and there are so many ways this could work. Hell, he's already recreated one episode, or at least made a My Hero Academia version of a Batman the Animated Series episode. What's to stop this author from taking a lot of the best episodes of Batman the Animated Series, Batman the New Adventures, or even just Justice League in general, and recreating them for My Hero Academia? Hell, where's the Lex Luthor character? We know that motherfucker had backup plans. Outside of Superboy basically being his bastard child, that motherfucker had backup plans. So there's you are not telling me that dude did not have a succession, a bloodline planned, where he has baby mamas that have his kids, and basically pulling a freaking Resident Evil type like shit going on, or something going on here. Again, there's a lot that can go on, and there's a lot of setup here. There's a lot of cool stuff here, and stuff that I just... like, legitimately, I am so looking forward to, because, again, it's 5 chapters as of the making of this video, and there's just so much potential. There's so much good here. It's clear this guy is a big DCAU fan, like myself, as well as the movie fan, like myself. So, to the author, I know you're watching this. Have fun with this. Go full DC. Bring in the Amazons again. Explore the world build with this sucker. You have a cool idea here. Like seriously, bring in Superman, Superboy, someone. Show Midoriya having a backbone and the power to basically show people that, yeah, no, I may be quirkless, but I have more power than you and your quirk, because I can ruin you without needing a power. Because that's true. You can ruin him financially, politically, fucking legally. Pick your freaking poison on how many ways Izuku Midoriya could basically ruin them with the power he has of fucking Wayne Industries behind his back, as well as his legal team. Just saying, motherfucker. But in all seriousness, though, this is a great story, and I recommend you guys read it, because, again, there's a lot good with this. And if you want to read this yourself, consider checking it out in the pinned comment down below. It's Dark Knight Deku, or Deku Dark Knight. I can't remember the title off the top of my head, but I do remember the premise, and I do actually love what is set up here. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Airsoftile, and I shall see all you lovely people in the next video. And if you want to help support the channel, check out the links down below to our partner programs for either 9mm blank grenades, tracer units, or anything else. Check them out down below and use the coupon codes attached to those links, of course. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I've been Airsoftile, and I shall see you all in the next video. Till next time, later.